You are Locked On Clemson, your daily podcast on the Clemson Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Clemson family? Welcome back to the Locked On Clemson podcast. Matter of fact, the Locked On Clemson live stream as we get ready for the game tonight. And guys, you already know who it is. It's your boy Damian Parson, the host of the Locked On Clemson football podcast. Man, it's game night, not even day, it's game night. Thank y'all for joining me tonight as we just kind of pregame, right? Get ready for the game, talk a little bit of ball, man. I see I already got a couple comments in there. Shout out to Jose Rivera saying that he was first. You were first, Jose. So shout out to you guys. Brian Frederick, I hope Garrett Riley has some wrinkles in the office tonight. We're going to talk about all of that, man. You know what I mean? We'll talk about everything. No surprise injuries, correct? So, like the chat up. You guys know what to do. Like this live stream, like it, comment, jump into the chat because we're going to talk a lot of ball, man. We're going to talk a lot of ball tonight. And as you can tell, you can see right here, it's Duke week, it's Duke night. And again, thank y'all for tapping in with me, man. The big thing for me tonight, guys, is this game is the tone setter, right? All week 1, week 0, no disrespect to anybody that plays during week 0, but week 0 doesn't count. Like we watch it and we have fun watching because we're football fans and love of the game, love of the sport. But week 1 is really what gets the ball rolling for everyone. And we saw some big time performances in college football, some blowouts, some games that we did not predict, some teams that we didn't think would lose to the competition they were facing. Tonight starts that momentum towards the ACC championship game for Clemson, man. And it's big. And then the fact that not only you don't get a cupcake to start it out, you don't get Charleston Southern to start out week 1, you get the Duke Blue Devils. And this is a team that, to me, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, they're competitive and they have NFL talent on both sides of the football, right? For anybody, shout out to my everydayers, by the way. Shout out to my everydayers, Jack Harrington, all the people who tap in with me every single day, Monday through Friday on this podcast. But for my everydayers, you've heard me talk about Graham Barton, their left tackle, right? You've heard me talk about Jalen Calhoun, their star wide receiver. Riley Leonard, the star dual threat quarterback. All right, so you've heard me talk Dwayne Carter on the defensive side of the ball. You've heard me speak on these guys, right? So who are the X factors for your Clemson Tigers? Let's get it right out the gate. And if you listen to the last 2 episodes of the Locked On Clemson podcast, or if you're new here, go subscribe to the channel. All right. Like this video, comment, jump into the chat, all that good stuff. But go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notification if you are new here. All right. But if you are new here, one thing I talked about, one of the biggest matchups in this game is going to be in the trenches. Starting right tackle for the Duke Blue Devils, Jake Hornibrook has never played tackle in college football. He's played guard his first 2 years playing football in college football for the Duke Blue Devils. He's played left guard and he's played right. He's never played tackle. This is going to be an adjustment for that young man. And to go up against a guy, if you listen to the KJ Henry interview I had about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, what did KJ Henry say? He said XT, Xavier Thomas, who I called him, kind of predicted that XT was going to be the KJ Henry of the defense, the veteran, the top edge rusher on the team. The guy that was going to be able to really get after the quarterback, a pressure machine, even if he doesn't have the 8 to 10 sacks, 7 sacks with 25 to 35 pressures is a successful season, right? So I think he's going to fill that role that we had with KJ Henry. And KJ said, I'm expecting a special season from XT, from Xavier Thomas. So you think about Hornibrook never playing tackle and having to protect against a twitched up athlete that is Xavier Thomas that can bend around the edge, get to the quarterback at a very high clip. He's healthy now. If you see any of the pictures of this young man training, he is ready to go. You talk about mentally locked in. That's what I've heard when it comes down to being with people from the program. When I talk to him about XT, they say he's locked in and he's ready to go, man. So having his mind, body, soul, everything combined and conjoined together, this young man is going to pose a real problem for Jake Hornibrook, right? Listen, playing tackle, and I think I said it on the most recent podcast. Playing playing tackle is like playing corner. Those are the only two positions that you got to go one-on-one while retreating, while a better athlete is attacking you, right? That's the only position. Yes, quarterback is the most important, but the most difficult two positions in football are cornerback and tackle. And to go from playing guard to playing tackle is not easy, right? It's a lot of changes because now you don't have bumpers on both sides when you're inside or at the guard position. You're on the outside. You got to deal with, with by yourself. And yeah, you could bring a running back or tight end to chip block and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, man, I just look at it. This is a matchup. That's the X factor to me. The X factor is the X-Man, and that is XT Xavier Thomas. I need to see him come out like game busters tonight and go after Jake Honeybrook. Put that pressure. Of course, first things first, stop the run. I talked about it on the more recent podcast. And for those who didn't listen or didn't have the chance to listen, I'll tell you what I talked about. Duke last year in 2022 had per game, they averaged 37 rush attempts to 30 to 31 pass attempts. They're very balanced, but they want to run the ball. Now their leading rusher was the quarterback, right? So when you have a dual threat athlete like a Riley Leonard, you have to understand what you have to deal with and what type of threat he poses. So at the end of the day, like that's going to be one of the biggest things for me is can XT, for one, he's going to have to stop the run. Set that edge against Honeybrook. Stop that entirely, right? I talked about it. Take away the right hand, make him play left-handed, baby. Make him play play handicap with one hand tied behind their back. Take that run game away. What you do with an athletic quarterback is you don't give him any room to work. And what I mean by that is this. If he wants to get out the pocket, make him stay inside of it, right? Cage him in, close the wall slowly. Don't get out of your rush lane. Stay disciplined. Because the moment you get out of your zone, the moment you get out of your rush lane, now he's breaking out. I keep referencing the run versus Boston College last year. Early in the game, it was him and the running back in the backfield, looked like inside zone read, in the mesh point. Actually, what it turned out to be, that running back was lead blocking, and they led Riley Leonard right up the field, and he can make simple cuts up in the second and third level of the defense to evade those defenders, and then he has the speed to beat you deep. So that's going to be the big thing, guys, at the end of the day. XT, yes, I think, Iron Man, not 0917, I agree. Prayers, up for XT that he stays healthy. Because if he stays healthy, this is an absolute dog. You understand me? This is an absolute dog. This is a guy that can go out there and wreck this game for Duke. Because think about it. If you force them to pass, their second wide receiver is a former quarterback, Jordan Moore. He's talented. Don't get me wrong. He's talented. He can play ball. So what you want to do here is you got to think about this in that realm is just, all right, if we force them to throw, how comfortable can and will they be to throw snap after snap after snap? Take away the threat of the run. Okay, make them throw it 45 times, right? It's not many quarterbacks that are going to succeed throwing that many times because more opportunities, with the preparation of the defense, especially in the secondary, gives them a chance for success to get interceptions, things of that nature. So I think that's a big thing. Shout out to CJ Gaddy. What's up, partner? Stays healthy. XT number 3 shows the football world what you can do in 2023. Go Tigers. 100%. XT is a dog, man. He's an absolute dog. He's a tiger, but he's got that dog in him. He got that aggressive side, and I think that he can go out there and really rest this game up for the Duke Blue Devils. Another X factor, guys, is Andrew Makuba, like one of our best defensive linemen, man. Andrew Makuba, who in this defense, second year, he's a friend of the show, been on the show too, and everything like that. Awesome dude. And for him, he's going to be playing a lot of the a lot of nickel. So you think about Jalen Calhoun and Jordan Moore kind of slot moving around. Jalen Calhoun in 2022, I think 57% of his snaps were in the slot. So that could be a pivotal matchup, right? But also when it comes down to Calhoun, it's taking Calhoun. If he goes outside, is Nate Wiggins. So that combination of Andrew Mukuba and potentially Nate Wiggins is going to be pivotal, okay? It's going to be pivotal because Jalen Calhoun is a baller. This young man runs routes well. He's twitchy, explosive, good hands. He is a competitor. He competes at the highest level. And with that inside-out versatility, you got to be able to have the ability to match him wherever he lines up. So I think that's going to be those two guys in terms of coverage. When you talk about taking away, I always talk about this. Bill Belichick loves to take away what you do best. All right, if you want to run the ball, cool. I'm going to load it up, and I'm going to play single high. Now throw it, okay? If you throw well between the numbers, we're going to cloud them. We're going to cloud the hashes, baby. Throw outside, okay? Throw outside those numbers. So whatever they want to do with when it comes down to Jalen, to the passing game, it's probably going to be funneled through Jalen Calhoun. Take that away. Limit that. Take it away, limit it, and go from there. And I think that Andrew Mukuba, not only in terms of what he does in the nickel and coverage, this is a guy that can be a +1 in the run game. He's tough, he's physical, and he will blitz off the edge. So the versatility he brings from a defensive standpoint, to even add to that situation, Wes Goodwin is also an X factor. I need him to be aggressive in the right spots. All right. And what I mean by that is if it's 3rd and 15 inside their 30, yeah, light them up. Light them up. All right. Send that blitz to them. Right. I always talk about this, guys. Picture changing for quarterbacks. You want to show them the Bahamas pre-snap where they feel comfortable with what they've seen. And then you want to show them hell post-snap so they know, oh man, like they're scrambling in because now it's not read and react. They don't know what to react to because it's a total different look that they saw pre-snap. So I want to see that from Wes Goodwin on those 3rd and longs, right? Yes, you cage in Riley Leonard, but you also heat him up. Let's see how much pressure. Pressure is going to do 2 things. It's going to make diamonds or it's going to burst pipes. All right, point blank. Seriously, that's what it's going to do. So, okay, Riley Leonard. And you guys know, my everydayers know, I have talked him up a lot. He's talented. He could be one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC at the end of the season. This kid is talented. But let's see how he handles the pressure. Matter of fact, while I got you here, I can look it up right now. You know what I mean? Courtesy of PFF. Shout out to them for everything that they do when it comes down to it all. I can look up exactly how he charted, how he handled pressure last year, right? Riley Leonard, let me just look it up real quick for you guys because I always like to bring you not just the football analysis, but bring you the numbers to back up what I'm talking about. So passing pressure, all right, let's see what happens. When he was under pressure, 29% of his dropbacks last year per PFF. He was 97 attempts, 44 completions, 45% completion percentage. His yards per attempt went from 7.5 or 7.9 when he was kept clean. It dropped to 6.3, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. So, and they have this category called turnover worthy plays, TWP. Well, when he was under pressure, he had most of his turnover worthy plays came when he was under pressure. So that was 5 of his turnover worthy plays came when he was pressured, and that's just what it is, right? And then the pressure also led to some drops from the receivers. So that's what I'm talking about here, guys, is that at the end of the day, he didn't play particularly well versus pressure. So now what do? Pressure him. Send the house out. Listen, yes, Wes Goodwin, I don't want him to be Brent Venables. Brent Venables is a different type of cat when it comes down to playing and calling defense. But that's the key. For this defense, you get them in 3rd and 15, 3rd and 10, backed up in their own territory. All right, play to the sticks. Don't give them any quick, easy things. The crossing patterns, the little sit downs and quick hits in terms of zone coverage. But get after him. XT, Justin Maskell on the other side, and of course our 2 big boys, Rook Orororo, Tyler Davis, and the freshman phenom Peter Woods. This young man, 6'3", 6'4", 315, athletic. He can play 1 tech, 0, 3, the 3 tech. He also could play some 5 as a defensive end. That's just how talented he is as a natural athlete, guys. So listen, yes, I'm excited. If you can't, it's game time. It's game time, man. I'm excited to see this defense and what they're able to do because This is by far one of the best defenses in the country for me in terms of NFL talent. You guys know I'm an NFL draft analyst, so I look at it from both sides of the spectrum: college football and NFL. And when you have, you have XT, when you have Justin Maskell, and you have Peyton Page, when you have Peter Woods and Rook Ororo and Tyler Davis, but don't forget about the two dudes, the two best defenders on the field. You know what I mean? And that's the linebackers, Barrett Carter and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Listen to me, guys. If you want to see a linebacker core that can impact the game versus the run, impact the pass as blitzers, one of the leading sack artists last year was Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He had 6.5. And because that cross dog blitz, they mugged the A gap where they both, him and Barrett Carter, walk into the A gap and everything. So, listen, man, I want y'all to understand, like, this defense, this front seven is one of the best in college football, and they can get after it. And I want to see them get after Riley Leonard tonight. Looking at the chat here, my boy Daniel Harms, what's up, bro? You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you tapping in, man. Iron Man. Well, listen, Makuba has speed, bro. He has speed. He can play man-to-man against the best of them. He can do a lot of different things, play strong, play free. He is a versatile Swiss Army knife that I can't wait to see Wes Goodwin and him in year 2 of this defensive system. CJ Gaddy, Makuba's primed and ready for a breakout, for a better 2023 season. Listen, I don't know. I'm hoping that you're saying upset upset. No. Like, because I'm pretty sure that Clemson's favored in this game. So we ain't talking no upsets, baby. We ain't getting into no upsets now. Come on, what are we doing here? What are we doing? You know what I mean? Now, Wade Wooditz is he's good, and he's versatile as well. Because if I remember correctly, off the depth chart, I think he is the backup to Jeremiah Trotter, if I remember correctly. So I think that's going to be a big thing. It's just like he's talented. This linebacker core, like the starters, I'm fine with, guys. I'm completely fine with the starters. My concern with the linebacker core is the depth, and the experience. There's not a lot of experience in terms of the backups. Behind them is a lot of young players. So hopefully, in games like next week and the week after, where you have those cupcakes, you can get those young guys on the field early, save your starters. Because after, the next 2 games, then we got those Florida State Seminoles who we saw what they did and everything like that and whatnot. But, talking about that game last night, right? This is a big thing to me in this game. Clemson's got to make a statement, guys. Clemson has to make a statement tonight. You just watched Florida State go up against LSU, an extremely talented team. And in that second half, they were absolutely dominant, right? And I've been telling you guys for all my everydayers, I've been telling you all summer that Florida State was going to be tied to the hip of your Clemson Tigers all season. And that team, with Keon Coleman coming over, which we just saw him and Johnny Wilson both went over 100 yards receiving. Keon Coleman had 3 receiving touchdowns. Those 2 big, Johnny Wilson's was 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", and then you got Keon Coleman who's 6'4", 210, 215. That's a very dangerous receiving duo. Then you got Jordan Travis back there going from playing like Johnny Manziel to being Bryce Young and being a stone cold killer in the pocket. Like and Trey Benson in the backfield. Then they have Jaheim Bell who runs out of the backfield, catches the ball out of the backfield. That offense is going to pose a lot of problems. Then their defensive line. That defensive line was balling. So you talk about what they did last night, right? They made a statement. Now it's time for Clemson to go out and make theirs to where it sets up. And this is not hyperbole, guys. I want you to stick with me here. I believe September 23rd in Death Valley, when Florida State comes to town, that is going to be the contender for game of the year. I believe that. I truly believe that that's going to be a heavyweight slugfest, right? So that, like, tonight, you got to make a statement now. Make a statement now. Flex your muscles. Yes, I'm not saying Duke. You blow Duke out of the water the first quarter. If you do, great. If you don't trip. Don't worry. Don't get concerned. What you do is you stay the course. What did I talk about in terms of the 3 keys to victory? All right, when I did today's episode for Locked On for you guys, the number one thing was weathering the storm. Clemson has to weather the storm of emotions. You know that it's a night game in North Carolina at Wallace Wade Stadium, right? 8 p.m. Eastern, ESPN primetime. I'm expecting that crowd to be live. I'm expecting them to be live. I know somebody jumped in the comments like, you're expecting Duke football's you're expecting Duke football student section to be live at least the beginning of that game. Yes, it's game one. It's the season opener. 100%. I do expect them to be raucous, man. But at the same time, you just weather the storm. You act and you play and conduct yourself like a Dabo Swinney coached football team. All right, one of the best coaches, one of the best motivators, and one of the best minds in football. So you act according, right? So just weather the storm. And I think once you get there and then you really get into the flow, even if it's the middle of the third quarter or the beginning of the third quarter, then you start to, okay, let our talent, we're more talented than Duke. Both sides of the ball, all right? For those who watching that loves the NFL draft, watch out. Watch out for our center, Will Putnam, all right? When we talk about centers for the 2024 NFL draft, for whatever reason, Will Putnam never gets mentioned, but he needs to be. He can play. He's a baller, man. Tough, scrappy. His dad was a green. I think his dad was or still is a Green Beret. So he, you know what I'm saying, like has that military background. He's tough. He embodies everything that Dabo Swinney loves. Being a team first guy, play guard. He said, if they need me to play guard again this year, I'll do that. Like it doesn't matter to him. He wants to help this team win. And I think he's going to be a big part of tonight because just in case, like I said, watch out for number 90 on the defensive line for the Duke Blue Devils, Dwayne Carter. Whenever he reduces down too far inside, I want to see Will Putnam and him match up, as well as Marcus Tate. Marcus Tate's one of the better guards in the ACC, and I think he's got a chance to prove that he's one of the better in the country. So keep your eyes on him as well, guys. But, yeah, just flex your muscles. And on the trenches on both sides of the ball, you are better. Showcase that. Prove that, right? And then you put a stranglehold in this game, and you let the tiger out, right? You let those claws out, you get a bite, you get rip them shred from shred. And you do what you have to do and win this game, man. So at the end of the day, I think that's going to be a big part, man, is make a statement tonight. Make a statement tonight. Is this what you got to do? Make that statement. Show the world who the Clemson Tigers are. And let everybody know when that September 23rd matchup, now don't look past Duke. Don't look past Duke. You handle business tonight. But then you look past. You don't look past, but you handle business tonight, and then you look forward after tonight. You knock off these next two games with your cupcakes, wipe them out in the first half, so your young players can play. And then September 23rd, all right, heavyweight slugfest, Tyson, Holyfield. It doesn't really matter. Whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, okay. That heavyweight bout. That's what this is going to be, all right. That's what this is going to be in terms of college football. That Florida State Clemson game. So let me look at the chat real quick. CJ Gaddy, thank God. A lot of people don't realize how many injuries Makuba had. Yeah, Makuba was not healthy all season. You know, and he's a fighter, man. And this young man, he's about to be a father and everything, guys. You know, I remember talking to him about that, pre-show when he came on the pod early this summer, man. And that's I just saw a comment in the chat. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, like Makuba's ready, man. Makuba's ready, and I'm excited for him. Yeah, Iron Man, like I said, the linebacker depth is a concern. But as long as we got those, like I said, the main thing is like in these next two weeks or so, when we have those games where you can get the starters out early and get those young guys in and get them the playing reps so they can get used to the speed of college football, man. Listen, that's what you need, right? That's what you need. So that's what I look at in these next two games tonight. Barrett Carter, Jeremiah Trotter. And listen, truthfully, they're the top two linebackers right now heading into the 2024 NFL draft. And Jeremiah Trotter is the one that a lot of people have labeled as the only first-round linebacker. But Barrett Carter, coverage skills, blitzing, run defense, man, he can do it all, guys. Instincts, he can do it. I always say he's a better version. To me, he's a more polished version of Trenton Simpson. Truthfully, that's how I look at it. Shout out to Adam Watford. What's up, brother? Bo Collins and Adam Randall. I was just good. You read my mind. I was getting ready to go to the wide receiver room, man. Yeah, I want to get to the O-line real quick and I'm gonna come back to this comment. O-line should be much better this year, 100%. Much better this year. I think Tristan Lay. I heard everything I heard from camp about Tristan Lay and Colin Sadler. 2 6'5", 6'6", athletic specimen at the tackle position. Those guys were battling all fall camp, but I think Tristan Lay should get the nod. I know they were kind of listed as co-starters on the depth chart, but I think Tristan Lay is the guy to get the nod. Any O-line is better than Carolina. That's the comment right there. Let's go. Zing. Yep. Listen, Spencer Rattler's my guy, okay? As an NFL draft analyst, he's a quarterback that I really appreciate his game. But that South Carolina Gamecock offensive line was absolutely atrocious. Okay, it was terrible versus North Carolina. All right, and North Carolina isn't known for having a ton of dudes. You know what I mean, on the defensive line, but they got Mari Gaynor is a guy that I like from Florida State, and then Rucker showcased himself big time. Rob Baxter, what's up, brother? Appreciate the shout out. Yeah, give Shipley the rock, Shipley and Maffa, baby, give them both. Run that rock. Listen. Mason Johnstone, one of the young offensive linemen, also another friend of the show. He came on and did an interview, and he talked about what the O-line calls this air raid offense. They call it the dirt raid. He says that they want to put defensive linemen in the dirt and run the football right in their face, and I want to see that. I want to see that starting tonight. I need to see the offense be different to believe it's going to be. It's going to be different. For one, it's the scheme. And Gerald, shout out to you, Gerald Higgs, and I'll give you a little tidbit to that. Talking to a coach that played against them, and talked to another one whose son played against Clemson last year, and they both told me the scouting report on the Clemson offense. And the scouting report was simple. They wanted to isolate their big receivers on the outside, throw 50-50 balls. They wanted to call what we call middle of the field close, get that safety down, single high safety, one-on-one on the outside. It was very simplistic. It was hard to get guys open because the receivers, Joseph Nata, and so if you play press man, it was difficult for them to separate. So bringing in Garrett Riley in this spread air raid offense that runs with tempo, who will run the football inside zones, outside zones, he will smash and dash it now. And you think about the passing concepts, the spacing, getting the ball when you got a vertical threat. I'm gonna make a prediction here real quick, talking about this offense and these receivers. Quentin Johnson was that big, deep threat for TCU, Garrett Riley's TCU offense last year, guys. Cole Turner is going to be that this year. That's my prediction. That's my bold prediction that Cole Turner is going to not be and have the production of Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston was a first-round pick. I'm not saying that Cole Turner has to do that, but what I'm saying is that he will bring that big play element with his speed, as we saw late in the season last year versus North Carolina. I think even in the Tennessee game, former basketball player, once he opens the stride, he can outrun a lot of guys. And I think they say he was arguably the fastest player on the offense, which is crazy. So I think that so for Gerald, man, listen, sit back and watch the game tonight. This offense will look different. It's all about them. Like from schematically, it's completely different, and I think it's going to be better. Now they just got to go out there and execute. Let's see. Important that the offense works out any kinks. Shows the air raid tonight, along with our running backs. 100% Chuck. What's up to you? Like I said, everybody, listen, like the YouTube video as you're watching on YouTube, like it. Like I said, keep jumping in the chat and ask me any questions you want. Talk to me. You talk to each other, all that good stuff, man. Let's get this thing popping, having a good time before kickoff tonight. But yeah, no, we got to start, get everything out, right? That early in the game, these next 3 weeks, let's get the kinks out and get them out now. Need Randall to realize potential. Wide receivers must help Cade for offense turnaround 100%. It was 100%, bro. What's going on? What's up to you? You're right. Like, Adam Randall, 6'4", 225, almost 230. Yeah, he's a specimen from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He's a specimen, guys. And I think for him, he has the opportunity. If I remember correctly, I think him and Cole Turner. So on the depth chart, it was him and Cole Turner as like co-starters as one outside wide receiver. Bo Collins was the starter on the opposite side, and then Antonio Williams, who my prediction was going to be be a 1,200-yard receiver in this offense. I think he's going to be who they funnel the offense through. But yeah, like I think that's going to be a big part and a big thing with this. It's just a simple fact of the matter that like Adam Randall is so physically gifted, right? He got a track background. He can attack the ball at the highest point. I'll always say, man, when you got a receiver like Adam Randall, Cade, throw it where the kids can't get it. All right, throw it up top. Put the cereal on the shelf. All right, so the little ones can't get it. But I will say, I think Duke, I did the crossover episode with my guy JJ from over with Locked On Blue Devils, and he talked about Al Blades Jr. from Miami, who transferred from Miami. He's I believe he's listed at like 6 foot, if I remember correctly. So they got some some good in terms of height, weight type of guys in the secondary. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. And I think Duke, Mike Elko, and that defensive staff, I think they're going to test our wide receivers, guys. Truly, I think they're going to test them. I would not be surprised if we see some heavy man-to-man early on. Just kind of, okay, can you guys separate this year? You didn't separate well last year, right? Can you do it now? And I think that's kind of that we may see that in this game. We may see that tonight. And if so, it's just an opportunity for the wide receiver to prove that they are who they are. And reading up on Antonio Williams, who's going to be in the slot heavy, he kind of talked about how it was a big adjustment for him last year, being a student athlete, going to practice and having weightlifting and then going to class and everything else. He said it was difficult for him. It was one of the hardest transitions basically of his young life. And now he's kind of got a better handle, a better grip on that. And when you have that, and you walk into the season confident, knowing that I can handle class, practice, and weight room going in my second year of college football, that's big, man. That's big. As much pressure Cade has on him, I think he shines tonight. Backs, I 100% agree. 100% agree. You know what I mean? I think that's a situation where, and just I talked with Mason, and Mason told me, man, he said, listen, Cade and KJ said the same thing. He's a leader. He works hard. Just talking about how much work this young man put in this offseason. And he talked about it, man. Like, Cade puts the work in. And reading them and listening to Dabo talk about if he threw a pick in practice, he bounced back. And I always say the quarterbacks, receiver, everybody, no matter what rep you have, if it's good or bad, have a short-term memory. Do not wallow in bad moments, and don't over-celebrate in good ones, right? So having a short-term memory in football is big, and just hearing that about Cade is big. So I think he is going to shine tonight. Like I said, they got to protect him, and I think if they do with this offense with Garrett Riley, I expect to see some pre-snap motion and everything as well. Get the run game going. Remember, this is a track guy. I think it's 4x1. I think he did 200 and 4x4. He's got speed. This young man has speed, and he can make plays with his legs, and I'm excited to see it tonight. Let's see. I think P. Wu is going to be a superstar. Agreed, Adam. Agreed, man. This is going to be. I'm excited, man, guys. I'm excited. CJ Gaddy put the cereal on top of the shelf where the little ones can't get. Listen, man. That's what you do when you got 6 foot. When you got receivers that are listed as 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", they can jump out the gym, man. Listen, basketball, they do this number here. Like, yeah, I just dunked on him, right? I just dunked on that guy. Put that ball up there where those children can't get it, right? You know what I mean? You can't get up here. You got to get a step ladder to climb up to the top of the fridge and grab the cereal you want. And in this situation, I already got it. So that's how I look at it, man. Just go up there and let these guys make plays, guys. Let them make plays. And I think the run game is going to be really important. When you have Will Shipley, and I'm going to tell you what I really want to see from Will Shipley, not so much from him, but from the offensive staff. Because I'm going to tell you, guys, I'm going to be honest with y'all. One thing about me, DP going to keep it 100. I know when he goes into the draft process, somebody's going to tweet out that he's the next Christian McCaffrey. I guarantee that. Someone's going to use that lazy draft narrative, white running back, dual threat, can work out of the backfield, run the ball. He's going to get that Christian McCaffrey comp. No, let's not do that to him. Christian McCaffrey is an absolute animal. So is Will Shipley. But let's leave those two guys in the stratosphere that they're in. But Will Shipley, what I want to see from him, from the offense in terms of using him, is motioning him out more out of the backfield, getting him in line, matched up and lined up against linebackers where he can work as a receiver. Truthfully, that's why I want to see a good bit of that this year, guys. I want to see them use him as a receiver. That way, you can kind of come out what we call it pony, 22 pony, split backs in the backfield for my Madden fans, right? Where you go shotgun and you got 2 running backs flanking them. So you got Will Shipley to the left, you got Phil Moffa to the right. And when you have a Will Shipley that you can motion into the slot and he can run routes and get open and things of that nature, think about what Jahmyr Gibbs did for Bryce Young last year, doing the things he was able to do at Alabama. Right? If you can get some of that out of Will Shipley, which I think he can do that, do some of that. I don't know. Jahmyr Gibbs is a different mover too. Extreme athlete, really smooth, really twitchy. But I think you can get some of that from from Will Shipley. And if you could do that, you know what that does? Listen, I'm about to get into my offensive coordinator back here, but you motion them out pre-snap, right? Then it gives you coverage indicators. Okay, is it man to man? If that linebacker flows and goes out wide, you can cut, especially if you do it early in the play clock, you can really mess with the defense because you can motion Shipley into the left slot, then motion them back to see if the linebacker returns, or motion them across the entire formation to the right side. That linebacker travels. That's a man-to-man indicator. All right. So I always talk about it. Offensive coordinators have to give their quarterbacks their answer key. Right. It's all about making things easier for them. So pre-snap motion, things like that coverage indicators, that gives them some of the answers pre-snap so they know where to go with the football. So you can do that type of stuff. But if you motion Will Shipley out, right? You think about the first couple times you do it, you start hitting Will Shipley with the passing game, right? Now they're focusing on Will Shipley, but they forget that Phil Maffa's still in the backfield. You snap that bad boy and run inside zone. And Phil Maffa, 6 foot, 230 pounds, NFL ready body, physical downhill runner who's also worked on his route running and he's worked on his pass catching in this offseason. So I'm expecting a better Phil Maffa as well. I think that's going to be they got to get the run game going, but guys, when I tell you I'm excited about this offense, I'm excited about this offense, man, because there's so much opportunity, so much creativity and versatility offensively for the Clemson Tigers to do so many different things, to stress defenses. It's there. So yeah, shout out to Patrick. What's up, brother? Maffa. Yeah, we got to get the big boy rolling. McCaffrey is shifty. Will Shipley isn't afraid to run right through you. 2 different backs. Exactly. I think that Shipley has some shiftiness to him, as well as McCaffrey will run between the tackles. But Shipley is such a tough physical runner. And the crazy thing about it is he's not the biggest guy. He's not listed at 215, 220, 230 or anything like that. He doesn't look like what's the kid at Wisconsin, Braylon Allen, the 6 foot, 245 pound, 20-year-old, whatever he is. No, that's not Will Shipley, but he is a very tough runner. Oh, shout out to my guy, man. ADI, what's up, bro? What's up, Avery? Yeah, Jake Brenningstool, 6'6", 230. Listen, that's good. I told you, I really believe that this is an offense that will have a 3,000, maybe potentially 4,000 yard passer if the balance and everything works right in terms of play call, right? I say Antonio Williams. If there's anybody that hits 1,200 yards, it's Antonio Williams. Something that hasn't been done since, I believe, what did I say? Was it when the history was like 2016? Like Mike Williams was the last Clemson receiver to eclipse 1,200 yards on the season, right? So I said Antonio Williams could be that guy. And then, you look at, Randall and everything, but I think Jake Brenningstool is going to be, he's the ultimate X factor of this offense. The biggest mismatches in football, guys, honest to God, it's tight ends, because those are the guys that defenses struggle to find somebody to cover man to man. When you're 6'6", 230 and you can run, it's like, okay, I put a linebacker who's probably at best 6'2", right? Do I put a linebacker on him? Maybe not, right? Because he's taller, more athletic. Do I put a nickel corner on him? Typically, nickel corners are 5'10", 5'11" type of variation in terms of height, maybe anywhere from 185 to 200. Yeah, that's not going to work. He's still too small. I can run things to turn Jake Brenningstool into a power forward, right? Those quick hitches, those end breakers, put them on your back, call for the ball in the low post, and let me get it down to Dirk Nowitzki, all right? So you know what I mean? You kind of do it like that. And then also, then you put a safety on him. And it's like, okay, safeties are bigger, stronger, but are you athletic enough? Because a lot of linebackers nowadays are bigger, are just safeties because the linebacker position has downsides because of the passing game and everything like that. So I think at the end of the day, it's just point blank, Jake Brenningstool is going to be the X factor of this offense every single week. And I think teams, I would not be surprised if defenses don't key in on him early, and that's how they get beat. Truthfully, the seam routes, the end breakers, the skinny posts, the end cuts, things of that nature, shallow crosses, mesh concept with the 2 crossers, creating those natural rubs and pick routes. And it's just easy money. Get the ball, let K get the ball out of his hands, man. Shout out Avery, man. Yeah, the Jake Brenningstool. I'm absolutely getting ready and prepare for him to have a good one. Yeah, hey, T, Appreciate it, man. Have a good time. Watch the game and enjoy yourself tonight, brother. Well, in your case, it's still daytime on your side of the world. After the Florida State game last night, how do you think we match up with the Noles? Rob, listen, I think we match up well. Nate Wiggins last year, I remember watching the tape. Nate Wiggins last season played very well against Johnny Wilson. Being physical, Nate Wiggins is also he's like 6'2", long arms, so he can play at the catch point, make those routine easy catches for Johnny Wilson. He turned those into contested situations because of his ability, right? And this is a young man who I think is going to burst onto the scene for a lot of people in the draft community. I think tonight is going to be like his coming out party. But then that game, that matchup against Florida State, I think him and Sheridan Jones, the two outside corners, they're going to be pivotal in that game. I think we can match up with them. That offensive line did a good job versus LSU. But one thing I saw, Makai, I forget the young man's last name, number 18 for LSU. He was an absolute monster. He was wrecking the game for them last night, and he was getting into the backfield quickly, explosive. And the only thing I'm going to tell you, as I was watching him dominate the interior offensive line, I just kept coming back to Tyler Davis and Rook. Tyler Davis, Rook, and Peter Woods, because Peter Woods can do the exact same things. And if you can get into the backfield, and Wingo, appreciate you, Avery, Wingo. So if you can get to, I thought it was Wingo, but for some reason I didn't trust myself in that situation. Always trust yourself, guys. Trust your gut. But yeah, I think that's a big thing. Is like I think we match up well with them just all around. I think that we can handle them in the trenches on both sides of the ball. The main thing that our offensive line is going to have to do, they're going to have to come out and be ready for physicality and power. And one thing I noticed last night at the beginning of that game, that LSU was kind of chilling. Like they were just coming out to play ball. Florida State was like, not so much. This is a fight, all right? This is a backyard brawl. We're fighting in the alley. There's a lot of hits after the whistle, right? Even though they got flagged, they were basically letting LSU know this is going to be very, very physical tonight. So you're the SEC. You better bring your big boy pants, okay? And then eventually, that physicality, it wore LSU down. But yeah, so I think that's a big part to what we do tonight is, well, in that game, Rob, is that we can match up well with them. I think from a passing standpoint, I think we can have success versus that defense. So I'm looking forward to it. And for everybody that's in here, Clemson fans, just let you know, definitely follow me on Twitter, DP_NFL. Follow me there. Definitely go holler at it, as well as the Locked On Clemson Twitter page, LO_Clemson. Go follow that. The Clemson page is new, just was created recently. So go flood that with follows if you're on Twitter. And then, of course, if you into the film breakdown and film sessions, I will have that on my Patreon account, because on this channel we can't break down film and stuff like that. For legal reasons, we can't do it on YouTube and everything, since we're monetizing all that good stuff. I know I've had a few people ask, hey, can you break down some tape? I'll be doing that on my Patreon and everything. So I'll drop that into the comments and everything on this YouTube video and whatnot. So if you want to watch me break down, as soon as the tape comes through to me from tonight's game, which I'm expecting to come through, it's probably not tonight, then first thing in the morning. Once that comes through, all systems go. I'm gonna watch it, break it down, and I can pull up some clips, offensive and defensive, and I'm gonna put some videos up on the Patreon, so you guys kind of watch with me, see what I saw, whether good, bad. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys, all right, and everything like that. Let's see, Patrick, over under on Clemson sacks of Leonard. Ooh, man, listen, one thing I'm going to say, I don't think we're going to get to that Spencer Rattler sack treatment of 8 to 9, but I'm going to say over, I say we're going to get over 4. I say we get over 4 tonight. I think, like I said, that right tackle situation, I talked about it earlier with Jake Hornibrook. If he can't contain XT, what's going to happen is they're going to start trying to slide coverage. And against this defensive front, it's hard to slide coverage. It's hard to double team one guy, because if you double team one guy, you're leaving somebody else one-on-one. And Graham Barton is the only guy I think that I trust right now on that Duke line. I think they have one more interior offensive lineman that is pretty good. I can't remember his name on the top of my head, but I remember JJ talking about him, that he's good as well. So you probably got 2 guys that you can say, okay, one-on-one on an island, you can leave them. if I'm Duke, I'm trying to slide protection off the rip to XT. I'm not trying to let XT get off and go in the first couple drives. He's got 2.5 sacks and 5 pressures. Don't want that if I'm Duke. I absolutely want that if I'm Clemson. So I think the over-under for Clemson sacks tonight, I say the over is going to be, I think the line, I'm setting at 4. I think they get over 4. I think they get 4 is the minimum. I think they can get 5, maybe 6 tonight. Especially depends on how aggressive defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin will be, man. So I'm like, guys, listen, I'm excited, man. Y'all got any? We about to get into predictions in a second. You guys have any questions for me? Like I said, drop them in the chat and everything, and then I'll bring them up on the screen and talk about them and answer those questions. Well, let's get in, and I want you guys' opinion too. When we about to talk about predictions for the game tonight. Sorry, what is your prediction? Give me your score. Tell me who you think going to win, and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to it. For me, my prediction is simple, guys. I'm picking Clemson to win. Let me look at the spread again. I want to look at FanDuel Sportsbook. Fans of the, they're friends of the show. FanDuel Sportsbook. If you haven't checked them out, guys, what are you doing? Go check out FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. But let me just check here for Clemson. Duke. Clemson is a 12.5-point favorite. Let me know in the chat if you do believe that Clemson will match the spread at 12.5. That's almost 2 touchdowns. 12.5-point favorite. On the road, week 1, trying to get some kinks out, new offense. That's tough. I do believe Clemson wins this game. I think it's going to be score. I'm going to say 31-20. So I think it's like an 11-point game. I don't think they hit the spread. I think 31. No. 12.5. Week 1 is a lot. 12 to me is a lot, especially in this game. Oh man. Oh God. I'm gonna say, I'm up the score for Clemson. I'm gonna go 34. I'm gonna say they get the spread. I'm gonna be confident with my boys. I think they're gonna get the spread. 34-21 is a 13-point victory, right? So they're gonna actually go over the spread and everything like that. So I think Clemson's gonna win this game tonight. I think they pull away late, similar to what we saw last night with Florida State and LSU, where it was competitive through the first half, right? And then Florida State came out and punched them in the face, and LSU never recovered. I think eventually it's going to get to that point where Dabo and Wes Goodwin and Garrett Riley, they're going to dial something up, and it's going to be a right hook. And you know what I'm saying, like a boxing match. It's going to be a right hook, and it's going to knock Duke down, right? Like Errol Spence and my boy Bud Crawford, right? Bud gave him a couple of shots, and he kept dropping them. Eventually, those legs get wobbly, and you got to call a decision, right? The ref got to step in and say, hey, it's over. In this situation, I do think that eventually somewhere in the second half, Duke is going to give them a right hook that's going to stun them, shock them, drop them down to the floor, and it's going to be, instead of them getting right up for the 10 count, they're going to get apart about 5, 6. And that's when it's going to be like, okay, we've hurt them. We see the blood. We smell blood. Let's continue to go for it. Let's go knock them out and take this game over. And I think from that point, Clemson will start to extend the lead. So I think 34-21, 13-point victory. Let's look at the chat. Woo, Patrick coming in hot, 41-17. Pat saying upset. I mean, not upset. Pat saying blowout. Pat saying blowout. Jesus, Pat, I see you, though. I see you, big dog. CJ Gaddy, you on the same train, 45-10. Woo-wee. Listen, dude, I love it, though. I love it. That's why I asked you. I wanted to get y'all input. I absolutely love it, man. My boy Avery said 30-18. He's got them right underneath this. I saw you. You said, give me Duke and them points barely. Yeah, no, that's 100%. Like that's a barely. A half a point. Nah, I think it's going to be a good game early on. But I think Clemson's going to pull away, guys. But listen, that's it for me, man. I've been here for almost 50 minutes chopping it up with y'all, man. Y'all have been great tonight, man. Nothing but love. Appreciate y'all tapping in. I'm going to try to do this more regularly for y'all, man. Instead of not just dropping the podcast on the YouTube channel, but coming live and jumping on here and talking with you guys. But also, like I said, the Patreon at the Scouting Room. You can go in and subscribe and become a subscriber and supporter of the Patreon channel. And once that film comes in, I'm going to watch it this week, guys. I'm gonna cut up clips, things like that. I'm gonna have little segments on there where it's like, players of the week, different things like that. All that stuff coming forward for you guys. So definitely stay tuned and everything, and stay tapped in with me, man. Like I said, we've been here 50 minutes. I appreciate y'all. Listen, go grab your food, get your drink going, all that type of stuff. Let's have a great night tonight. Monday Night Football. Your Clemson Tigers are on Monday Night Football. All right, your Clemson Tigers, man. So listen, we're gonna have a great time tonight. Go Tigers. We're gonna win. Patrick said, good to find you here. Enjoyed it. Listen, man, I enjoyed you, Patrick. I enjoyed all you guys. Everybody, Rob, Avery, everyone that jumped in, CJ Gaddy, everybody that jumped in, man, Iron Man that jumped into the chat. I appreciate you guys. Let's go have a great night. Y'all have a good one. Go Tigers.